Alright, so I wanted to do a Shadowlands Postmortem series of Shadowlands Postmortem videos. I want to talk about the systems that we like, what systems I want to see going forward, just about everything about this expansion. Probably going to break it up into at least 2 videos. I apologize, I'm very nasally right now because I'm still recovering from a cold. Both the kids have been sick, and then I've got allergies, some sinus drainage going on, so I apologize for the horrible voice, but we're going with it. Especially because announcement patch is coming up next week. So, Shadowlands Postmortem. Covenants. Let's talk about the Covenants first. That was the main system from the expansion. That was the system that they launched with. That was like the most pivotal system for the whole expansion. Obviously, there was the whole ripcord thing, and they fixed that later. Definitely, they fixed it with allowing those to choose, and that should have been happened right away from the get-go. Don't want to spend time on that because it's been talked to death a million times, and they fixed it. Soulbinds. Meh. I was not happy with the Soulbind system. I think it kind of fell flat on its face because one of the big problems with Soulbinds is Blizzard did the thing where they sometimes do where they try to conflate lots of choices with relevant choices. For example, look at this. There's a lot of choices here, and ultimately, each of these only give a little bit of power gain. But once you add them up, put them all together, it's just a little bit incrementally here and there and there. And some of these are just bleh. Coordinated assault. Duration increased by 7 seconds. And then every step of the way, you have to regrind the new one and get a new, more powerful one. So, I didn't like the Soulbind system. I'd like to see it kind of go away for now. And obviously, some Covenant abilities were much better than others, and it's really hard to balance these when you have this many options, this many knobs to be turning, and for each class, and for however many classes you have, and for each of them have 3 specs, because it averages out to 3 specs. Druids have 4, Demon Hunters have 2. So, with all those knobs to turn, it's very hard to tune things appropriately and also make them meaningful. Because there's some of these that I haven't selected all expansion long in PvE content. So it's just like the Soulbinds, and then also some Covenants and abilities you could tell were given much more love and thought and development than others. So ultimately, I would like to see them bring the Covenant system back again. I think it was. I would like to see them try to do more. To be able to bring back the system and have another go at it again. Because there's some decent ideas there, and they just kind of hampered it in with their own ideology. They were really trying to force us into choice, force us into decisions that were impactful throughout the entire expansion. And I would really like to see them have another go at it. And if they do, I would really like them to be aggressive with different abilities and make it more. To balance them and make them better. Like, I think they were hesitant to buff and balance things because they were trying to make that choice meaningful, but they also didn't want to punish you for making the wrong choice and then have to jump through all the hoops to fix that. Okay. Moving on. Torghast. Torghast. was fun and became better throughout the expansion. I think it was an interesting idea. One of the things I know I've talked about in my other video is I think they should up the power of the up the power level of the self nerfing aspects to it. And I know I talked about compared it to Visions before, where that Vision talent tree that you got, the more times you did it, the more powerful you got. And somebody pointed out to me that you also unlock more zones, and I completely forgot about that. So the more power, and so then the more powerful you got, the farther you went into it, and so on and so on, and fed into itself. I really wish they could bring that up to raise that power level up, make much more drastically, especially for the solo content, because week 6 should not be as hard as week 1 that you're doing it. You should be able to do this every time you do it. You make it more power, you get more power, you do it more, you get more power, and that's something that WoW has always had built into it. You do something, you get more power, you get more power, you can do further of it, like with raids and everything. Make Torghast repeatable. Let me spam it over and over again. And like I said, these are things that they developed throughout the expansion, and I'm okay with them bringing it back into the next 10.0, or some kind of form of it. Not Torghast directly, but whatever the Dragon Blight Tower we have to climb, and fight the different dragon in the Dragon Force proving grounds. Make more cosmetic rewards for it. So yeah, I would Torghast. I would like to see them bring back again. The Maw. The Maw is the Maw. The Maw is probably for me the most disappointing content they had this whole expansion in Shadowlands. It just seems like they totally forgot it. And if I remember right, I could be wrong on this, but if I remember right, I think the Maw was originally designed with the intent of doing the Maw to get Torghast keys, and then you'd farm the Maw to farm Torghast keys to run Torghast. Which was an interesting idea, but then I think once they got rid of the key system for Torghast, I think they kind of just in development they kind of forgot the purpose of the Maw, and it lost its way. They made it as world content. They made it overly punishing. I don't know what they were trying to do that lore wise on purpose, but it just didn't come out into fun gameplay. Like the too needlessly punishing, you weren't able to mount. You lost half your Stygia every time you died, and they made the enemies there powerful on purpose. But I don't, world content like that should not be punishing for the sake of being punishing. It should, if they want to make it interesting, there's other ways to do that, and that isn't how you do it by making it more fun. And I think what they tried to do with Stygia is they tried to tie player power into it to say, hey, we got this cool zone. This is the reason why you should run it, so you can get your gems. And I think it kind of fell flat on its face. And same thing with Korthia and Zerath Mortis. They got better as the expansion went on, but I think ultimately the Maw in those zones just kind of fell flat. I think they kind of forgot why the purpose of those end zones. Like I said, most disappointing content for me. Legendaries. I think I'm going to make a whole other video on legendaries. But the TLDR on my thoughts on legendaries are, I like the idea of having lots of options for legendaries. I really do. I definitely don't like the cost and tying it to crafting, and they were trying to make that important, but the cost of it just became prohibitive throughout. So I did not. That's a horrible system to do. And it's competing with tier gear. Having legendaries that compete with tier gear is just kind of a feel. It leads to too many feels bad. TLDR, what they should do, keep the system with lots of legendaries, make more interesting legendaries, not the stupid maw ones, that I don't know if anybody ever used throughout the expansion, but put it on rings. Put them on rings or trinkets. And then that allows us, we can craft 2 of them. It doesn't compete with other gear. But yeah, that's the TLDR of that. The gearing process overall, it was intentionally slowed down. And then they gave us Valor late into the patch cycle to upgrade our Mythic Plus gear, which I definitely needed. And I know they wanted to control, they were trying to really control like our initial power gains, so we were all kind of sitting at a certain level of power coming into the first raid tier. And I'm fine with that to a point. Actually, I'm not fine with that to a point. Gear, I think they should give us more power. The Vault. The Vault was a good, definitely improved the system. This is the best I've ever had the Vault. I think it needs a few minor tweaks. First off, tier is an issue. Again, and I think that's an issue of having tier. I think people like the idea of tier, but I think I honestly think tier, I've come around to the point where I think tier just conflicts with too many systems in the game. I don't think tier should exist with some of the systems that the game has. Because there's just too much of a, they hinder each other. For example, so with the Vault, you have to choose between your tier. It's a nice place to get your tier, but you have to choose between your tier or a really cool trinket. Say you get a trinket or a weapon that you really wanted, but to complete your tier set, you're going with tier every time. So that's what so like I said, minor tweaks with the Vault. I think they got to do a better job with bad luck protection, other than just the Vault. So like either coins, badges system. I think coins, badges, and Titan Forging are the 3 things that are needed coins, badges, and Titan Forging. I know a lot of people don't like Titan Forging, but I think that those would really help the gearing system. And create a creation catalyst. I think the creation catalyst should only exist in times when we have tier, and that should be given to us a lot sooner. And that way, and what's nice about that is you can actually pull the tier out of the Vault and put it into the creation catalyst system to help you out. So yeah. So if they did those things, it would definitely fix the gearing system. Mo Plus. I think, honestly, Season 4 is going to be bringing a lot of the changes that we need. Sorry, the baby's crying in the background. We gotta pause it. Alright, we're back. Sorry, baby is fed. Where was I on gearing? Mo Plus. Yeah, so I think ultimately Season 4 is going to bring us some of the much needed changes to Mythic Plus. They're bringing some old dungeons in, cross faction, group finder. So, and hopefully they improve upon that. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. We'll see how Season 4 plays out. But like I said, I think that's what's needed, and hopefully come 10.0 they rip down all the faction barriers. Overall, one of the most disappointing things they did with this expansion was they tried to make our choices relevant. But they tried to make our choices relevant by restricting our choices. And that's not how you make a relevant choice. I'd much rather there be actual relevant choices, meaningful talents, etc., rather than just restricting them. The other thing is, they tried to make content, and this was their stated goal, they wanted content to be relevant throughout the expansion, and just build upon all the systems as they went. I think that kind of fell by the wayside. So, and I think they realized it's not working, and they just kind of gave up on that and just started adding more. They just shoveled more crap on top of crap on top of crap. I'm not going to fault them for the delay in patch cycles. That wasn't directly Blizzard's fault. There were some internal stuff they were doing. They were dealing with that really helpful feed into it, along with the pandemic and everything. So that's not their fault at all. There's a lot of other issues they were adjusting. They were trying to deal with as they went. So yeah, I'd really like them. What I really like them moving forward is come up with a roadmap for their expansions, and stick to it. Really, I mean, flesh out all your systems that you're going to do in the entire Dragonflight expansion, and make it. Watch, they literally pulled the best troll ever, and it is not Dragonflight. It's like Shadow versus Light or something totally different off the wall. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So ultimately, I think this was a very disappointing expansion. Not 100% their fault. A lot was their fault, but then there were some external issues that really fed into the bad stuff that just kind of compounded upon things and made things even more so. But take their time to develop things, flesh them out, make our choices relevant and meaningful. Have another go at legendaries, covenants, and Torghast. Whatever your legendary system, grind system is going to be. Have another go at that. Make them meaningful. Develop them throughout the expansion. Have a roadmap to plan it. And yeah. And make our end zone world areas fun. Actually fun. Making them actually meaningful and fun. Not challenging and hard for the sake of being challenging and hard. Give me a reason to be there, and make it fun. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.